Balakrishnan, now that the results are out, how do you plan to move forward over the next 5 years to perhaps win over the 40% which perhaps people are going to?
Well, I think that's a question which all of us are contemplating. This is something we'll all have to review very deeply. I don't think it's an accident that in Holland-Bukit Timah we were exactly at the national average. And this is a situation which will evolve with time. And depending on the lessons that we learn and the way we change both policy implementation and the way we do things, the results will evolve in the future. Specifically in Holland-Bukit Timah, we have a wide spectrum. Even as we speak, in the next couple of weeks, more rental blocks are coming up in Holland-Bukit Timah. So there is clearly also a segment of lower income people whom we will need to take care of. At the same time, there are also more HDB and more condominiums coming up. So we expect to see an increase in the population in Holland-Bukit Timah. So in a sense, our efforts at outreach, our work is all cut up for us. There's a lot more outreach we need to do, not just to the 40% who didn't vote for us, but indeed to the new residents who are moving in. For those who have been with us, they know that we are capable of doing things, and we have transformed the area significantly over the last decade. But I think even that there is room for adjustment. For example, we need to make sure not only do we listen carefully and understand the needs of our residents, but the solutions that are proposed, that we consult deeply, that we listen, and that our solutions reflect the priorities of our residents. And ultimately what we want to make sure that in our next term, everything that we come up with, every plan, every project, is one that is co-created with our residents. Their ideas are in it. Our residents take ownership for the ideas and for the projects and for the trade-offs that sometimes will need to be made. So it's going to be a term in which much greater focus on outreach, on consultation, on listening to ideas, synthesizing ideas, and co-creating solutions. We hope that by doing it in this way, there'll be a greater sense of ownership, a greater sense, a closer sense of intimacy between residents, neighbours, community, and the members of parliament. And we hope that we will be able to forge ahead in a more flexible, sensitive, and consultative style to make sure that everything which is proposed belongs to the residents and everything is done with the residents' interests always paramount in our minds. So that's what we're going to have to do, but details we will have to work out in the months and years to come.
What's about the PAP's transformation to listen more to the citizens?
Yes, I think at a national level, clearly there's a need for change. The PAP will have to transform itself or be transformed. It's better that we initiate this process and that we initiate it quickly and vigorously. I think after the Prime Minister announces the Cabinet next week, I'm sure all the ministers will have to embark on serious policy review from top down as well as from bottom up. And we need to make sure our policies reflect the priorities and concerns of Singaporeans. Secondly, we need to make sure the way we implement policies takes into account sensitivities on the ground. We need to be far more flexible in the way we implement and do things. And we need to be far more sensitive to the needs and the concerns and anxieties of people on the ground. Thirdly, in all our policies, I think this is an opportunity now for active citizenship and for citizens to participate. We have to provide more information. Citizens also need to participate actively in the formulation of policies and solutions. And this whole concept of co-creation, of solving problems, of generating solutions in a consultative and collaborative way. I think we will have to prove and show this in action, in policy formulation and implementation. But anyway, that's how I see it. But I'm sure the other ministers will have similar thoughts, and we'll all do things, I'm sure, in our own way. But I think the key theme will be that we're going to listen far more. We're going to seek to understand and to implement with greater sensitivity, and we're looking for solutions which we can co-create with the people of Singapore. Singapore belongs to all Singaporeans, not just a single political party. The elections are over. Now we need to go and create the future and co-create it with our people. I think that's the transformation that has occurred, therefore, not just in a political party, but across the entire society. This is a evolution of political maturity in Singapore. Yes.
Is it deeper and more thorough than...
Oh, it has to be. I think we all will have to draw the right lessons from this election, and I think every minister will have to take a deep, hard look at all our policies, everything we do, how we execute the policies, how we make sure that our policies reflect the key concerns and priorities of Singaporeans, that we implement with the spirit of the policy in mind rather than just more rigidly by the letter of the law, and that we give more opportunity for Singaporeans to participate in this national dialogue, in policy formulation and in generating solutions. So I think all of us will be embarked on a very deep dive into not only the policies, but the way we execute those policies and the way we relate to Singaporeans.
Would you say it's deeper than all previous post-GE reviews, given the historical...
I think there's a need for a deeper and a more fundamental review, and I think that's good. And what I'm saying is that it's not just at a party level, not just at a government level, but indeed I think this is an opportunity for Singapore as a whole to contemplate the future, decide what our priorities are, and how we're going to relate and solve problems and co-create the future. It's an opportunity for the entire country, the entire nation, across the board. And I think that's a good thing. You want to add something?
If I can just...
Yes.
One more point. You mentioned about policies needing to be more flexible.
The way we implement it will have to be far more flexible.
Rigid that so far in this implementation.
That's the feedback we have received, so I think we need to take that seriously. And like I said, implement with a view on the longer-term interests of the country and the feelings and sensitivities and concerns of Singaporeans on the ground. I'm speaking at a personal level, so I think other ministers may have a different take on it. But I think we can and we should do this, and it'll be for the better of our country and our nation.